All right, first off, I want to announce our captains for this week. Offense, Daryl Langham. Defense, Jaquan Johnson and Kendrick Norton. And then on special teams, Mike Badgley. Again, as a reminder, coaches vote on a weekly basis who our captains will be, and the players will vote at the end of the year to see who the permanent captains are. Also, University of Miami Sports Hall of Fame announced 2018 class of inductees today. More U of M greats. You got Frank Gore, who I believe is still playing. You got Devin Hester. So you got another couple rock stars there. And then you got Larry Coker, Coach Coker, who I've admired over the years. Won a national championship in year one, undefeated. Went undefeated again until the very final play, I think, of the second year. But congratulations to those guys, and just more excellence from our football program. Things to try to somehow live up to. All right, we're going to play Syracuse, and obviously what happened last Friday was pretty remarkable. When you think about what happened the year prior, I think they lost 54-0 to Clemson, and then Clemson comes to their house, and they come out with a victory. It's just so impressive to have that kind of turnaround in that short of time. And Coach Bayers is doing a superb job, offensively, defensively, special teams. Very well coached team. Team that plays, with their hair on fire, so to speak. I mean, they play with such tempo offensively. The number one goal is just get lined up. Can you just get lined up quick enough to try to defend? And then can you defend? Got a great quarterback. Dungy, leading rusher, highly competitive guy, great passer. He's number 5, I think, in the nation in completions per game, 26 completions per game. He's got Ishmael, who's from North Miami Beach, kid leads the nation in receptions, 62 catches already. His number 2 receiver, Phillips, number 3, he's number 3 in the nation in catches, total catches. So it's amazing what they've done. Phillips actually caught 17 catches in one game. It's just amazing. Cole Murphy, their kicker, has hit 12 out of 14 kicks, and one of the best in the league. And then on defense, they got a couple linebackers, Franklin and Bennett, number 4 and number 30, respectively. Franklin on his 35th start, 3-time captain, kind of a lot like our Shaq, I'm sure. And then Bennett leads the team with 65 tackles, doing a great job. Defense has improved by 14 points per game to this point this season than they were a year ago, which is a monster change. And you can see why. They're super fast, physical. They bring it to you. They don't sit back. They rush hard. They pressure the quarterback. They outnumber the run game and play a bunch of lockdown man coverage and do it extremely well. So it's going to be a big challenge for us, and we're looking forward to playing another game at home in front of our home crowd, and really, really pleased with our fan base. They've been wonderful, and we actually, at the end of the game, we actually had to go to our nonverbal cadence because we could hardly hear. They were so excited the way things were going at the end of the game. We couldn't even hear our own cadence. So that's a sign of people getting excited about our program. So we're thankful for that. So with that, I'll open it up and see what everybody wants to know about besides injuries.
Mark, during a private moment after you took the job, was there a timetable you had in your mind of when you thought this could be a top 10 program again, and are you ahead of that schedule in year 2?
Well, first of all, you're not a top 10 program unless at the end of the year you're a top 10 program. We were ranked 10th last year, lost 4 in a row. So, we became unranked. We were happy to be ranked at the end of the year. So I guess we ended up around 20, if not 20. So we were, top 20 a year ago. We were at least a little bit relevant. We finished with 5 wins and a bowl win, which was big. But we're not at the point where we can just line up and impose our will on people. I mean, obviously Florida State battle royal to the end, Georgia Tech battle royal to the end. You know, we're not lining up and just whipping people and having these margins of victory that are really comfortable. We have to battle every week. We know it. But, you know, the beauty of football is whether you win by 1 or whether you win by 20, it's a win. And same thing with a loss. So, I mean, I've said it before, and I do think we're moving in the right direction. I think we're getting where we need to get, but we need to recruit well. And without getting great players here year in and year out, it's going to continue to be a battle. And like last year, we had 3 close games. We lost them all. We lost them all. You know, this year we've had 2 close games. We won 2 to this point, but there'll be more close ones, and we just got to find a way to win them.
You've had 2 emotional weeks in a row, and you just went through the Syracuse resume. Does the fact that they beat Clemson last week help you keep the attention of the team and
Well, I would hope that we would be ready no matter what, but you can't deny what happened. You can't. It's, you know, I don't have to explain anything to anybody about how good these guys are. It's very evident. It was. Matter of fact, Friday night before the game, we'll have dinner, and then we'll have offense and defensive meetings. And then when those are over, we have like a social time where they'll have some snacks and in a big room. And then we'll have gigantic video screens of the game of the night, you know. So our guys were watching it live, saw for themselves what was about to come up this weekend. So I didn't have to really explain much of anything.
How difficult is it for a team to come in here?
Say it again, please.
How difficult is it for a team to come in here and play hair on fire football when it's hot and muggy? And
I think they will be inspired. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You know, can you simulate heat and humidity? Probably not. You could probably simulate heat. I don't know if you simulate the humidity, but I think the more good things that happen to them, the harder they'll play. And, you know, hopefully we'll get ourselves in position where it might be where they got to dig a little deeper. But, you know, when you knock off the defending national champion, you know, Dino Babers is teaching his team to fight to the finish. He's teaching his team what it takes to be great. And they're believing, and they should be believing. So I say it over and over and over, teams that are used to winning are hard to beat. And right now, not that their record is unblemished, but they know how to win, and they know how to win, and it's going to be a tough game for both of us.
Well, you mentioned how Daryl's the team captain this week. Can you just kind of elaborate how your trust in him has grown?
Well, you know, being captain is based on performance on the field, in practice, in the classroom, and he's earned the right as much as anybody on the offensive football team to be that guy. You know, obviously he made this great catch against Florida State, second play of the game, just to be ready when you're third string going into the game. And then at the end of the game, you make the play that everybody wants to talk about. That's impressive. And then now you become more involved. You catch, 5 balls, 100 yards, and some key catches in the rain and in some drives we just had to have it. And then, you know, obviously the tip ball at the end, to have that kind of concentration and make the play, it's impressive. So, you know, he's always been the right kind of person. He's always been the right kind of student. But now he's starting to do some things on the field that warrant him becoming captain.
Did you meet with him, you know, after last season? Did you kind of see a change in him then? Did it come?
No, well, it was gradual. I think he understood what we were wanting from him, and wanting from him on a consistent basis. He would make some plays. He would use his body to shield a guy and catch a slant and snatch it out front, but it wasn't happening over and over and over again. It was like sometimes yes, sometimes no. And now I can't say he never drops a ball, but I don't think he's worried about can I snatch that ball or not. I mean, to catch that crossing route in the rain, it was like when Malik threw it, I'm like, there's no way with a wet ball anybody's going to grab that thing. But he used all 6'5" of himself and snatched it. And then if you notice on that play, and he caught like a seam route where a safety bounced off of him and he kept going. I mean, usually when you're not confident or super confident, you may catch it and you're happy to catch it, and you fall down or you kind of wait to get hit a little bit. I mean, he's now catching it, expecting to tuck it and get yards after the catch. And that's just the next phase of confidence and the next phase of becoming a big-time player.
Mark, what is it with second years? When your second year at Georgia,
Yeah.
what you're doing here now, what Dino
Coach Babers, yeah.
what Dino's doing.
Kirby Smart, Georgia. I mean, there's just, yeah. Yeah. Urban Meyer, I think year 2 at Florida was a big year, you know.
In theory,
Yeah.
but a lot of guys make it seem like you can put your stamp on a program really
Well,
quickly.
year 1, you establish your standards. You establish your way of doing things. So year 1, even if you got a group of seniors that are totally bought in, they still don't know what you want yet. They're willing to do what you ask, but they don't know the standard. The standard's being set. Well, year 2, the next group of leaders, they know the standard. And the whole team knows it, other than who comes in mid-year. You know, like that first year, we had those 3 freshman linebackers come in mid-year, and they blended in with everybody because everybody was learning together. Now the second spring, guy comes in mid-year, he's the only guy that doesn't know what to do. Everybody else knows what to do and how to do it. And so I think it's just a matter of guys really, truly understanding what coach wants and the willingness to not only get themselves to do it, but the players around them to do it. And now if a kid comes in, they're behind. They're behind because they don't know what to do and they don't know how to do it. They don't know how we go about everything. So they do stick out a little bit but the good news is when they look around, they see guys doing it right. You don't have to say, this is what I want, son. You can say, hey, do what Langham does, or do what Shaq does, or do it, you know, whoever, you know, Travis Homer. Do it like Travis Homer, you know, and then it's easier for them to see it rather than try to explain it to them.
Mark, can you talk a little bit about Travis Homer's success? I know you talked about it before, his personality.
Right.
You said Daryl has more confidence now.
Yeah.
How do you think all this will, affect Travis and your thoughts on
Well,
that?
I think Travis is so focused on his job that I think he has confidence because he knows what to do. He knows how to do it. I don't think he's like an overconfident kid, but I think it's just like you go to take a math test. If you study it and you know the problems, you've done all the practice problems and you're going to that thing, I know what to do. So when I get to that test, I can calmly take care of business. If you don't study and you're not sure and you go into a test, you're like, oh my, your hands are ringing and you're sweating and you're like, oh my gosh, I hope, they don't put this on the test and that on the test. So I think because of how he prepares, he's confident in that way. And then what we saw him do in the game was kind of what we've been seeing in practice all along.
You've been around teams that are, ready to win. You've been around teams that are kind of getting there, kind of figuring it out and all that. You guys are one of 8 undefeated teams left. Is there a sense, in that locker room that...
I don't know. I mean, we're excited about winning, and we are trying to establish that mindset of winning and doing the things it takes to win. But, we're not a dominant football team. We're a very, very solid football team that's fighting like mad just to win the close battles is where we are right now. But it's, again, a lot of positive things are happening through the adversity that we've been able to overcome to this point.
Mark, you touched on it yesterday, just a little bit of Malik, how sometimes he's got a little bit going, moving too quickly early in games. How do you start moving about that process of settling him down, or is it just more experience?
I think my goal is to create more adversity in practice. I mean, make it more like a game. Practice more like a game. Give me the tempo of a game. Don't give me practice tempo and then game tempo. Give me game tempo during practice. That's what I need, and I think that'll help him.
When you look around this league, Mark, have you been caught off guard at just how wide open it has seemed? Like, none of the experts 2 months ago would have said BC would beat Louisville and things like that.
That's crazy. It's a very balanced league. How great is everybody? I think we're pretty darn competitive with any league in America. I do think that. But there's a lot of teams that can beat the other team. Whether sometimes it's style of play. Certain matchups, just this team against that team, they match up good or they match up poorly. Sometimes it's, going to Syracuse on a Friday night and going in that dome and catching a team on fire and a quarterback who's banged up. And are you strong enough to be able to handle that? So you just don't know. I mean, injuries obviously play a big part in it, but I think dealing with young people and just the emotions that kids go through, you just never know who's going to win. And I think the other thing too is in college football, because of our ranking system of ranking teams early, I mean, a bunch of top 10 teams may get beat, but we were top 10 last year, but we were really a top 10 team last year. We were at that moment, and somebody got a victory. Who was it first? Was it North Carolina? Who beat us first? Florida State. So they beat a top 10 team because at the moment we were a top 10 team, but were we really that? I don't know if we were or not.
Anything else, Ken?
I know, obviously,
Yeah.
you have the report on Thursday.
Sure.
Is there anyone you anticipate coming back who didn't play on Saturday?
Yes.
Great walk-off.